Gish, a timeless interpretation of elegance which draws on the past to evoke its art, its passion, its intensity of pathos. Gish, a fine acrylic water finish, records the interest in Orientalism and exoticism typical of the 1910s. Gish captures the light and then sheds it back in a series of bright, solar and extremely seductive colours, thus conveying to the environment a sense of far and magical land. Preparation of the surfaces and the colours. Suitable surfaces. All the parquet, plaster, stucco walls and all the flat and smooth surfaces are suitable. If there are imperfect or rough cast walls, it's necessary to operate through the trimming with fashion rasante. Preparation of the surfaces. After a thorough cleaning and stuccoing of the surfaces, apply with a brush a coat of fashion fix, diluted 1 to 3 with water. If the surfaces are particularly pulverizing, it's advisable to apply first a coat of fashion fix, diluted 1 to 6 with water. Apply the diluted product with brush in a single coat until complete impregnation of the surface. Application of Fashion Primer Finae. After having adequately prepared the surfaces, apply Fashion Primer Finae in 1 or 2 coats with a short hair roller. In case of particularly absorbent walls, apply first a coat of Fashion Primer Finae, diluted to 30 or 40% with water. Gish is available in the ready-made bases Diamond, Ducal Amber and Pearl, as well as in catalogue hues to be obtained by adding fashion colour to Gish bases and mixing by hand. Application of Gish. Gish is ready for use and must be applied in 2 coats. It can also be applied in a single coat. The result shall be a less uniform and smooth effect and a less intense coloration compared to the colours of the catalogue. The second coat should be applied after 4 to 6 hours. Anyway, not before the complete drying of the first coat. The product is easy to apply and its spreading and application do not create problems of junctions on the walls. Linen Effect. Dip the appropriate brush for glazing in Gish and apply a small amount of product with cross and irregular brush strokes on the surface prepared with Fashion Primer Finae, avoiding clear squaring. Carry on the decoration until the brush gets unloaded, so as to have no neat overlaps of colour. In order to obtain a more nuanced effect and make the distribution of the product more homogeneous, go over the treated surface once again using an unloaded brush. The amount of material used, the size, shape and intensity of brush strokes determine the personalised decorative effect. Melange Effect. Dip the cellulose half-moon sponge in Gish and apply with uniform circular movements, keeping the hand as flat as possible and without exerting pressure on the surface prepared with Fashion Primer Finae. When the first coat is completely dry, after 4 to 6 hours, apply a second coat of the product with the same modalities. In order to obtain a more soft and delicate effect, go over the treated surface once again with unloaded sponge. The amount of material used, the size, shape and intensity of the movements of the sponge determine the personalised decorative effect. Jeans effect. Using a brush, apply uniformly a first coat of Gish on the surface prepared with When the surface is dry, carry on with the final decoration. Spread Gish with a brush in a homogeneous and uniform way, drawing bands about 1 meter wide. When the product is still wet, go over the surface with the appropriate scratching brush, working vertically from the bottom up and vice versa, and horizontally from left to right and vice versa, until obtaining the desired effect. In order to avoid anesthetic signs, it is suggested not to work on the last vertical band of about 10 centimeters, which will serve as connection with the next band to be decorated. The amount of material used, the size, shape and intensity of the movements of the brush determine the personalised decorative effect. The realisation of the jeans effect is advisable for the decoration of details and not for entire walls. Beaver Effect. Use a brush to apply Gish in a homogeneous and uniform way on the surface prepared with Fashion Primer Finae. Apply in bands of width of about 1 meter, and when the product is still wet, work with appropriate leather pad until you obtain the desired effect. In order to avoid anesthetic signs, it's suggested not to work on the last vertical band of about 10 centimeters, which will serve as connection with the next band to be decorated. The amount of material used, the size, shape and intensity of the movements of the pad determine the personalised decorative effect.